This is my dream graphics card. The Big Mama, the RTX 2080.
That's it. Alright, so Joseph has intelligently decided that he wants to unbox his brand new motherboard first. So I am going to hand him the YouTuber knife.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Let's see. Let's actually hang on. I'm gonna hold that over here because you're 13.
Oh.
There you go.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So here's the motherboard. 2 SOI slots, 4 RAM slots.
Yep.
Obviously 1 CPU slot. 2 NVMe heat sinks. I think 6 SATAs over here. 24-pin ATX cable, and the CPU connectors up here. And we have the most important part, the stickers.
Very nice.
The second most important part, the coaster.
And then underneath that box, you should have a whole bunch of accessories.
So this is the Wi-Fi thingy.
That's your Wi-Fi antenna.
Wi-Fi antenna, yes.
Yep.
That's what I said. This is the cable thing. Yes, the cable thing you put in your motherboard to basically tell you where to put your front panel I/O connectors.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely gonna need that. This is a couple screws that don't say anything. SATA cable, I think is another type of, no, I don't know what this is.
Okay. That's a fan extension.
A fan extension. Another SATA, yes, another SATA. And I think there's an RGB extension. So that's it.
That's it for your motherboard, alright. So what do you want to move on to now?
The CPU definitely.
CPU? Yeah.
This is a very complicated box.
You know what, let me do that part. Here, you hold this and watch me.
Alright, so after not trying to open this box for 5 minutes, I can open it up and reveal the beautiful second box of the Intel Core i9-9900K.
All right, now for the big boy, the RTX 2080. This is the ROG Strix Gaming, it's the OC edition. Joseph was very kind to me. He lent this to me so I could use it in my testing against the Radeon 7. You can check out that video up there. I will link that. That was the first video that I ever did. He lent this to me, so technically this has been unboxed already, but I did my best to keep everything as pristine as I possibly could, and I left the plastic on for that sweet, sweet peel action. So let's do the unboxing.
Alright, so after we get this out of box 1, we have box 2. This is my dream graphics card. There's a golden packet that contains a CD and a manual. Got the cable ties. I'm definitely gonna use these. And the card itself, the Big Mama, the RTX 2080.
That's it. All right, so now we have everything done, and everything is out of its box, but I know that there is nothing quite like the image and sound of a fresh peel. So, insert peel montage here. Alright, so we have everything peeled. We've got most of our stuff unboxed. Where do you want to start?
Definitely the CPU.
CPU? Alright, cool. So, how do you think that goes in?
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it goes in here.
Nice, okay. I'm gonna push that back there. Lock that bottom into place. And it pops right up. Very nicely done. CPU is in. What next?
Let's see the RAM.
RAM, sure, we can do RAM. Let's make sure now, remember we have two different speeds of RAM. It's two different speeds of RAM here. So we want to make sure that we are putting the same matched pair in slots 1 and 3 and slots 2 and 4. There you go. Push down to hear that click. There you go. So that is your 3001, so you need your 3003 as well. And before anybody gets all bent out of shape, we probably will just upgrade this all to 3200 speed down the line.
I always hate the sound of the RAM, like, scratching against each other.
That brushed metal sound? Mm-hmm. It's a little rough.
Now for the final piece of RAM. M.2.
M.2. Alright, we're going to need my trusty iFixit toolkit for this.
It has 1 and 2.
2 over here. Oh, that's 2 heat-sinks. We're going to cut right here. We're going to check the manual, see which one's probably the one closer to the CPU. That's how it works 99% of the time. But I just want to double check. And then we'll be back zoomed in and we'll install this M.2. Alright, so after a brief consultation with the manual, we have found out that it is in fact the top slot. I'll let you undo the screws.
So now where would the SSD screw be?
So it's going to end up being right there or right there, depending. You have a 2280, so it's going to end up going right in there. You're not going to need to put a screw in because it'll be the same one as the motherboard heatsink itself, or the M.2 heatsink itself. So the way an M.2 goes in, actually, you're going to start it on an angle, right?
Oh.
And then you push it in, pop. And you'll see it pops up until you screw it down. So when you put the heatsink back on, make sure you peel the sticker off for the tape first. So you peel that sticker off. Lots of people miss this step and end up putting on a heatsink that doesn't actually do anything because there's no thermal interface material between it. Or there is, but it's blocked by a plastic sticker. And you're just gonna pop that right back down. Make sure you line it up. There you go, that's fine. And then you're just gonna pop your screw back in. And I would start with the further one so it holds it down. Cool. Alright, M.2's in, RAM's in, CPU is in. What do you want to do next?
The cooler, I think.
CPU cooler will be the way to go. What we're going to do is we're going to put this all together out here. We're going to pop the power supply in there, and we're going to bring a monitor over. Just test it to make sure that it works before we put it in the case, because it's a lot easier to troubleshoot while it's on the outside of the case. And the box is just it's a nice way, it's anti-static. You don't have to worry about anything transferring over. All right. So let's hop in this cooler. Comes with pre-applied thermal paste. You're more than welcome to use that if you like, obviously. But we're going to be using some GB G-Skill Extreme. So I'm just going to remove this real fast and then we'll pop on the new thermal paste. Fun fact about the ROG Maximus 11 Hero Wi-Fi, there's no pre-installed backplate on the back of this. So you have to have an aftermarket cooler, which I guess is kind of fitting because if you're going with this chipset with a CPU like this on a motherboard this high end, you're probably going to have an aftermarket cooler anyway. Fortunately, the cooler that he has is preset for this socket, so all you have to do is pop the backplate on it and screw right in, and that's what we're going to take care of right now. I will zoom in for some thermal paste application. From what I've learned from The Verge, I probably should have left the thermal paste on there and then just like spread a whole bunch around, but I mean, all of my computer building knowledge comes from them, so I guess we'll find out if I was right or not. You get that reference?
What?
The Verge. All right. Here it is. Is that one in? All right, so you just need to make sure that the spacers are out properly on the back of this. And then once you do that, I will zoom in right now with my phone and I will show you. Once you do that, it pops right into place on the back of the motherboard. You're gonna flip it over. Just hold that on the back and flip it over. Make sure those stay pushed through. They're all lined up?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so with that in there, It's onto thermal paste application. I prefer the line method. Some people prefer the X method. You just want to make sure that you have enough on there. If you've seen anything, this is a non-conductive thermal paste, so you don't really have to worry. You don't want to go crazy with it, but you don't have to worry about too much a lot of the time. If you've watched any videos, there have been a bunch of tests. The only thing that you want to make sure that you don't have is too little, because if you have too little, then your cooler's not making good contact and heat isn't getting to the cooler to dissipate outside of the case, or outside of the CPU rather. So I would go with the align method myself. That's just me.
I don't know what that is.
I will show you. So the line method is going to be a line. You're going to squeeze out a line straight down the middle like that.
Okay.
All right. That should be good. Now with this cooler in particular, since it has this funky LED, LCD, what is it? Is it an OLED?
I think it's an OLED.
OLED probably. OLED display on it. You want to make sure that you have it set up properly, top and bottom. All right, so before we put on our thermal paste, we should have put on our standoffs onto the cooler itself. That was a step that I forgot. Make sure that you do that before you put on your thermal paste, because then you'll be ready. Just slap your cooler on there and tighten down. We are going to need the book, because I need to know which ones we're using. Manual consulted again. We now know which standoff we are popping in here. So for the LJ1151, it's the longer standoffs, just for those of you who are playing along at home. So you can go start to screw those in the corners where the standoffs were. So just get those down until they're about hand tight and you are good to go. All right, so he's gonna line up the cooler now. You're gonna make sure that it lines up with the standoffs, and then you're just gonna take the nuts and you're just gonna hand tighten them. Make sure you do it in a cross pattern. I don't know how much that applies anymore, but it's one of those old standards that we just kind of stick with. All right, with the cooler actually physically on, what we have to do is make sure that everything is plugged into the appropriate slots and hook up the power supply. And once the graphics card is popped in there, we'll be ready to test. And this is going to go from the cooler itself. It goes into your fan header, your CPU fan header. Cool. All right, now we're gonna grab the fan. Most people would want this in a pole configuration so you can clean it up a little more easily. So I would agree with that personally. All right, so just to test, we just threw it on in a push for right now because we don't really know where we want this to sit in the case yet. We'll finalize that once we do the actual build in a few minutes. Hopefully this posts and everything is good to go. You get now to slot in your GPU. You ready? Mm-hmm. Do it up. So we're going to run all of our cables first, and then we'll grab the power supply just because we happen to have the cables handy over here. Let's get the GPU plumbed up first. There's one A pin. Now for the moment, literally, he has been waiting for, and I guess some of you too. Plug in, let's see if it works.
Okay, got lights and RGB.
All right, there should be a power button. There's a button that says start right there. This will tell us.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ah. Ooh. A fake out. Look at that RGB goodness.
I'm gonna turn the lights off.
There we go. We are up and running. Now, you can't see me, but I can tell you. We're gonna put this in a case. All right, now we're just gonna unplug everything except for, we'll leave the cables on, just unplug them from the power supply.
Okay.
Take the GPU out. I got this thing. Remember, I did run some tests on this, again, on an AMD system, a 2700X system. If you want to see how that card performs on that system, check out the video that I linked earlier. All right, now we'll grab the case. is why you need to make sure that ahead of time you have everything plugged in, because that cage is a pain to deal with. We're getting there. All right, do the honors. All right. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you really loved it, the subscribe button is right like over here somewhere. Maybe it's up there. I don't know. Check out that video, maybe. Lots of cool stuff could be coming. See you later.